Many times people ask the question, why is it that we don't remember our previous lives? When we tell that we are spirit soul, we have taken many births. In your previous birth we could have been something. In the future also we'll take birth and then it will be something else. Quite often the question that comes up is, if that's so, why don't we remember the previous birth? And very nicely Srila Prabhupada used to answer these kind of questions. He would ask them, 1 week back, what did you have for breakfast? And it's hard to remember. 1 week back, where was I? What did I have for breakfast? What did I eat? So, our memory fails. So, we cannot remember. That is how this body and the mind and the intelligence system is designed. So we have memory to some extent. And by and large, things we dispense. We take it out of our memory and it's forgotten. That is because this body has a certain purpose. The body that we have and the life we are going through and the world that we are in, all of this has a certain special significance. And it is designed that we forget these things. Actually, forgetting previous lives, when people ask, why don't I remember my previous life? They are not really understanding the significance and the gravity of that question. I remember, I think I have told this story sometimes in the past. Somewhere in the 80s, it had come in the newspaper and I used to have that cutting. Maybe I still have it in the newspaper cutting. An article, a story about a woman somewhere in Maharashtra, a middle class woman and middle-aged woman, was working as a lawyer and she had children, husband and so on. And suddenly, at some point in her life, she started speaking incoherently, some gibberish, and then she would speak. Gradually they begin to hear that she was speaking some language which she had never learnt in this life. And then they took her. She couldn't sometimes do normal work. She couldn't cook at home. She couldn't take care of the family. She couldn't do her job. And then she was taken to a doctor. She started undergoing treatment. And then at some point she underwent some hypnotic treatment, psychiatric treatment. And then she started revealing something about appears like previous life. And then after that they tried to cure, and then always her life there would be in her day or once in a few days, few times in a week, or sometimes maybe few times in a day, there would be periods where she would switch off from this life and switch on her previous life and act like a previous life personality. And family members are all wondering, what's this? She's speaking some other language, she's identifying with something else. And sometimes she comes back. And it so happened that she could not continue her profession. She could not lead a normal life. She was always under treatment and so on. You see, actually, when we say, why don't I remember my previous life? We think it is just a matter of memory recollection. It's a lot more than mere memory recollection. It's a recollection of a previous personality. It's a recollection of a previous circumstance. It's not just recollection, it is trying to live the previous life, because it was a complete personality with a certain situation, certain reality, certain relationships, certain circumstances, all of that coming into this life circumstance, it's going to clash. Just one life remembrance. Imagine we have had thousands and thousands of lives, and if we were to remember all of those thousands of lives, it would simply be an information overload on this system and we'll go crazy. So the Lord mercifully switches off all those memories, keeps the essential things. Okay, you have some desire. At that also Krishna will remind at the right time, gives us a new body, and now start. This is exactly what is happening.